If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Sword of Truth podcast, the chapter-by-chapter reread of the Sword of Truth series with an opulent selection of craft brew on the side.
Why, yes.
I'm Jade, and I'm here with Nate and Aaron.
Hello!
2 in a row!
Woohoo, new record. Today, we're going to be feasting on chapter 21 of Soul of the Fire.
I'm hungry to eat some paper.
Oh.
Not really. That sounded better in my brain. And then I said it out loud, and that was pretty terrible.
I don't think it was terrible. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but we're here now, and I think that we're happy about it.
We'll call it unprofessional but entertaining at best.
I think our moment of truth for today is that it's important to workshop things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think before I speak. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
try that.
Next time.
No ideas are bad ideas, but that doesn't mean they're final drafts.
But that doesn't mean you say them out loud.
So, last episode, we talked about Dalton tending his web with Claudine and Linscott at the feast. Luckily enough, we are still at the feast, and we are eating.
I think that's a very good word to use, too, web.
It's creepy
He's a
and
spider.
bad because I fucking hate spiders.
Yeah.
But it is what he's doing.
He's pulling all the strings.
Yeah, he's feeling the vibrations when they're happening. He's like, oh, Claudine vibration. I'm going to have to go tend to that.
Yeah.
Vibes are real.
You gotta focus on the vibes.
Hashtag vibes. That's Dalton now for me. That's who Dalton is now for me.
Hashtag vibes.
He does a lot of he's a LinkedIn bro. That's who Dalton
God.
Great. Great.
Hashtag leadership.
Great. So, this chapter opens up with a woman singing an old Anders song, which was a bit confusing if you are just like listening and not paying a lot of attention. You're listening, and then all of a sudden there's a lady with wings, and you're like, what the fuck?
Literally, it ends with, ladies and gentlemen, if it would please you, dinner is served. She spread her wings, and her rich voice sang out with somber strength. If you're just reading, that's what you see.
You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
We're not talking about a creature? Is this a person?
Yeah.
I was so lost.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
it was upsetting.
Jade is the only reason I can be allowed to have a microphone and talk about books because I would be so lost.
I'm starting to think this Harry Potter guy can do magic. Anyway, next week we'll do chapter 4 of Goblet of Fire.
Wait, the owls deliver the letters?
What the fuck? No, but that's what it is.
Hey, entertaining. Oh, fuck, it's been too long. What is it? Not professional.
Not professional.
But entertaining.
Entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
goal.
Hey, you know what that is? Hashtag content, hashtag motivation Monday.
I'm
Hashtag
too
relatable.
old for the hashtag shit. I don't like it.
The youths, I don't like them.
Anyway, those rails we were on.
Gone. Okay, good. Check that
Yeah,
box
okay.
off for this
So-
episode.
And
Now
that's
we
our
can
moment of
keep going.
truth.
All right, guys. All right. So I did write out the entirety of this song here. I don't think that we necessarily need to read it.
Shall I?
Sure.
Came the visions of icy beauty from the land of death where they dwell, pursuing their prize and grisly duty. Came the thieves of charm and spell. The bells chimed thrice, wink, and death came a-calling. The wink wasn't in there, just to be clear. Alluring of shape, though seldom seen, they traveled the breeze on a spark. Some fed twigs to their newborn queen, while others involved the dark. The bells chimed thrice, and death came a-calling. Some they called, and others they kissed, as they traveled on river and wave. With resolve they came, and did insist, everyone touched to a grave. The bells chimed thrice, and death came a-calling. Roving to hunt and gathering to dance, they practiced their dark desires by casting a hex and beautiful trance before feeding the queen's new fires.
The next part's part of it, too.
Oh, shit, yeah, okay. The bells chimed thrice, and death came a-calling, till he parted the falls, and bells chimed thrice, till he issued the calls and demanded the price. The bells chimed thrice, and death met the mountain. They charmed and embraced. They tried to extol, but he bade them in grace and demanded a soul. The bells fell silent, and the mountain slew them all, and the mountain entombed them all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Did you think I was speaking from my heart? Acting.
Yeah, so that's what the song was. Lots of stuff about the bells chiming thrice. There's death in there. The mountain did some shit. It makes Dalton feel some type of way when he's listening to it, differently than it has in the past.
I just want to point out real quick, I know I kind of made a little bit of a goof of that, but the word lurk was not mentioned.
Correct.
Just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
That's all.
We'll mark that down.
Yeah. Seemed like a nice place for lurk to be stuck in, but it was not. And I feel like that's kind of significant.
Didn't fit with the rhyme scheme.
Yeah, that too.
At this point, the music stops, and there is some crazy food shit happening at this feast. The
course.
squires are bringing in a marzipan ship on marzipan waves. That's the fish course that they are announcing.
Fucking love it.
They have done this in the past with a pastry deer pursued by pastry hounds. That was the meat course. And a stuffed eagle over a scene of Fairfield. That's the fowl course. So there are 5 courses in, 7 more courses to go.
That's a lot of food.
Yeah.
That is a ton of food.
One time in my life, I went to a legit 5-course dinner. And
Yeah.
like the dumb 14-year-old I was, plus or minus a year there, maybe, loaded up on the first 2 courses way too much.
Oh, dude, you can't do it.
Loaded up
It's bad.
because
For-
it was delicious.
For the first time in ever, Jade and I went to a 3-course meal plus a dessert. We went to Frankenmuth, Michigan. And,
That's the one.
and I had, and I had, I'll
The
tell you
chicken
guys,
dinner.
I'm not a rich guy. No, it wasn't Zender's.
Oh
No, this is
I'm
at
sorry.
the other
we
end
did
of
different
town.
Then.
This is a fancy,
one.
romantic restaurant, dark, candlelit. Oh, it was beautiful. The exterior of the building did not look like a fancy place. It was very much still in construction. But it was weird. Like, you walked around what seemed abandoned, and then there was just a dude in a tux ready to take your jacket and see you inside.
Yeah, take you into the back of
It was a
this
very
abandoned
weird
looking
vibe.
building. But
Inside the building was beautiful.
Little sketch going in, but once you got in, it was okay.
Yeah. but here's the thing. So it was a 3-course dinner paired with wine, and I was like, I do not get opportunities like this very often. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eat this fucking food because this is expensive food, and I was raised not to waste the shit. So
Clean your plate.
eat it. That was a mistake.
It was kind of cold, but we were so full and so...
Oh.
I had the wine sweats.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the walk back was actually comfortable
Yeah.
because I was
weren't
massively
cold.
sweating
Just in
the
pain.
whole way back.
But you're 100% right. Like, when you buy the big fancy dinner, you get a lot of fucking food with it. But, you know, that was good because
Worth it.
I like being full.
It was a good soup.
It was a good soup.
Hey, hashtag hard work deserves hard rewards.
You're too young for me again. Hashtag whatever. Hashtag late 30s.
Okay. So far, the meat dishes, there was suckers, which are baby rabbits.
Yes.
Fawn,
Ooh.
pig, cow, all normal. Bear on hind legs with its first on that they were wheeling to each table. peeling the skin off of and allowing people to have slices carved out of this bear.
It sounds delicious, but I have it on good authority that bear is a very greasy meat.
It's tough. It's
Yeah, very
gamey.
tough.
They don't have a lot of fat.
I'm not much of a skin guy. Really? So I like the fact that they take it off, but also that kind of makes it gross, so pass.
I don't know. It seems disrespectful. This might be the druid in me. It just seems disrespectful to the animal to be like, look at this entertainment piece we're wheeling around.
But we know what they do to peacocks.
Just real quick, did we think this was like the baby rabbits was supposed to be a reminder that these are bad people, or just that it's just the delicacy?
I think it's just a delicacy. In
That's what it is.
times.
Yeah.
Because I definitely took it as, like, I read it and I was like, oh, that was just to remind us that these are all bad people. And it's like, no, but that is also a thing. Like, almost every culture has, like, oh, yeah, we do live baby food here.
Well, I did think about it for a minute because it was like a list of baby animals
Yeah.
that they were eating, and then the bear on its hind legs.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna dwell on that right now. We're gonna keep moving. They also have fowl. There were sparrows. They're the lusty ones. Pigeons, swan's neck pudding, eagles, baked herons that have been refeathered and held by wires to depict them in flight.
Yeah, they do that with the peacocks, though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're doing all sorts of fun stuff with their pets. It's all taxidermy
they, like,
that we can eat.
reform them. I
Yeah.
think part of the requirement for me is like I love chicken wings, but I don't really want to see that
I
it
don't
comes
want you to
from a
look at
chicken.
me.
I'm
Yeah.
a fucking boneless guy,
Yeah.
right? I don't want the bone in. So, like, you're reforming the animals to look like the animals, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
That actively makes it worse for me, even if it is fancy.
Yeah, that's how you turn into Lisa Simpson, because the little lamb is. Bah.
Yeah, then you
she's-
see Lamb Chop making
Yeah.
eye contact with you, and you're like, I can't eat this anymore.
Half of
Yeah.
me is from a very Polish Catholic family, and that means that family reunions can have triple digits at them,
Oh,
which
man.
means I have seen a full pig get roasted, and I will not lie. I love me meat.
Yeah,
I know
oh, yeah.
that we can have a lot of discussions about the ethicalness of meat consumption. Seeing the head of the pig did make me want to eat meat a little less.
It makes you feel a certain way.
It's like, I like eating hot dogs. I don't want to know what they're made of. I am fine being ignorant on that.
I just realized we have to take Aaron to Legs In.
Oh, yeah.
It's the oldest, most famous Polish restaurant in the entire fucking state of Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah. It's wonderful. We
That
went
sounds fun.
there a few years ago, the year the Jeep broke down.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Birdie and his backers are at the head table. Sovereign and his family are off to the side at their own table. People are obviously stealing glances at both of them the whole time. Sovereign's super fucking old. Birdie is, handsome, kind of fat looking man, but he holds people's gaze. Like he has that vibe about him that people want him to look at them, and he makes shit happen. So they're like in awe when they look at him. The Sovereign's latest wife is a teen. He's outlived his last 4 wives, so he
Yikes.
is hanging in there pretty good. And we see Hildemara, that is Lady Chambor, hanging out here. She lifts her finger to stop the harpist, giving the illusion that she has complete control over the whole evening, which Dalt and some of the other people know that that's not true. This is all, scheduled on a pretty tight fucking ship. The harpist knows when she's supposed to be done, but we have to give her the illusion that she wants.
And she knows that harpist will be in trouble if she stops before the finger comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, it feels like placebo. It's like, hey, it's fake, but it works. Well, if it's fake, but it works, then it just works.
If you see
so
this
she
lady
is in charge.
hold her finger up to
Yeah.
stop a musician, and you don't know that that's all pre-planned,
Yeah.
then when she does it to you,
Yeah.
you're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think the illusion is that the night wouldn't continue running without her control, but that is false.
Yeah.
The truth is she's not needed to keep things on track.
If she put her finger up when there wasn't supposed to be a pause, there's a chance there's no pause. Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
there's a chance where, like, the harpist and Birdie just all of a sudden is like, honey, no, we're going to keep going. Like, we have 7 or 5 more courses. We're not pausing here.
But we, in fact, are going to pause here for a quick little beer. So we will be back right after this. Hey, Nate, what are we drinking?
Today, we are drinking Maggie's Irish Ale. I'm not as good at the accent as you two are, but we are gonna fucking give it a shot. The blurb on the back of this can says, crack open a can of luck. The balanced, mahogany-colored Irish ale is brewed with locally harvested... No, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's so hard. The balanced mahogany-colored Irish ale is brewed with locally harvested Michigan honey, creating aromas of caramel and tea that sing in beautiful symphony with subtle hints of malt sweetness. May you have all the happiness and luck that life can hold, and at the end of your rainbows, may you find a can of beer. Oh my God, I love that.
That's a good blurb. As far as beer blurbs go, that's a good blurb.
That's a pretty good blurb.
Yeah.
As far as the beer goes, this is Maggie's personal Irish ale. I believe possibly the Maggie from Idendrill. Not sure, but maybe.
I think this, in hindsight, proves a little bit of my attitudes for Maggie. She didn't give us this.
She had this the whole time? What the hell?
It's seasonal.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, I guess that was in the... I'm curious to know what you guys feel about it. I'm not getting a lot of the honey personally.
No, I think it's just an ale. There's maybe a little bit of like a sweetness on kind of the aftertaste on the back end. It's still a solid ale, but it's more of like a 6 to a 7. I'm gonna be happy drinking this, but it is like there's not a lot making it stand out. Maybe more 5, 6. Nothing's wrong with it, but there's not really anything spectacular with it.
Jade, what about you?
I think that honey is not necessarily a flavor that outside of like mead is a can really be a front runner, especially when it's in something like tea.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is a sweetener. It's not necessarily the flavor profile you're like looking for, because that's very hard. Like it would be, I imagine it would be very hard to make a beer taste like honey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else. In light of that, and the fact that this is a tea and it's Irish, I think it hits all the notes. It's a very smooth drinker, and I would say it's probably a 7. I think 7 leaf clover is the easiest way for me to say what the fuck I'm trying to say.
Okay, I dig it. I'm actually same as you. I am 7 leaf clovers. I think this is a little bit smoother than the beer we had on our last one. And
Yeah.
I think it's
Raggedy ass.
the Raggedy Ass IPA. And I
Yeah.
think the difference is that the IPA pronounces those bitter notes, and this one, the honey hides them a little bit. And so I'm it's not much better, but I'm going 1 point up. So I am going to call this a 7 out of 10, which by all counts is a good beer.
With this beer, vanilla is not in the car anymore. Honey is in the back seat.
That's right.
Smoothing
Honey's
things out.
smoothing everything
Yes.
out. Reminding everybody we don't want to get pulled over
Yeah, let's
tonight.
keep it cool, guys.
Yeah, let's keep the party going.
And with that, let's flow our way back to the chapter.
Ooh.
Like honey?
Yeah, we know.
Okay, so we're back. And we're going to talk a little bit about Hildy. Also, by the way, everybody has a nickname in this book because they all have really long, pretentious bullshit names. And we ain't doing that here. So Hildy, that's her name.
Every time I think about Hildy, I think about the woman from Django Unchained.
Oh, wow.
Her name was Hildy.
I think about, maybe her name's not Hildy. Maybe it was Heidi. From Tool Time? Home Improvement.
Heidi.
Yeah,
That was Heidi.
that was Heidi.
Yeah.
That was Heidi.
That was Heidi for sure.
Nate, I know. That was Heidi. That was Heidi.
There are very few things of which I am sure. Her name was Heidi.
Listen, her name didn't matter that much to me. That's all
didn't,
I'm
but
saying.
that's
It started
besides
with
the
an
point.
H.
I'm trying
There
to be
were
an
other things
adult
that were
human.
important.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay. Hildy allows the minister's wandering eye because she's not innocent herself, but she is a little bit more discreet. This comes up because he is kind of eyeing the harpist when she bends over. She shows her cleave a little bit. And Hildy has her own webs that she's tending all around. She's the power behind the minister while he's off fucking around and doing his little fun. She's getting shit done.
What's the quote? It's a famous quote. Behind every blank man, there is a blank woman. I forgot what it was.
Well, I mean, that's the phrase, and then you just insert whatever.
Exactly.
I think
You
it
fill
changes,
in.
yeah.
Okay,
But
that's
yeah,
fine.
behind every hardworking man is a hardworking woman.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's the concept
Yeah.
he's toying with
100%.
here, though. It's like, yeah, your guy's doing a lot of shit, but he's got a wife that's supporting his whole thing.
Yeah, he couldn't
Yeah.
actually be the dude he is to the people without this person.
her.
Right.
Well, and it's an interesting thing because this is the other side of the coin. This is Claudine. Like, she helps her husband. She's the behind the scenes, but people don't necessarily, maybe they don't always give her the credit. Maybe they give her husband the credit, but like, she's the one pulling the strings, similarly to how Claudine works with Edwin. Yeah.
And I mean, this is, I feel like, good kind elbowing the reader to, just in case you thought this was a blank person concept, like, oh, terrible things happening to Claudine. Look at her. She's a human being. She's participating in her partner's life. She's getting shit done. She's a valuable member of society. She's not just a random victim for the story to progress and for there to be a bad guy. He's humanizing her.
Right. And this also, like, just kind of underlines the fact that in this society, there's the politics, there's all the different things happening behind the scenes. Women in this society are maybe not respected loudly, but they do play an important role behind the scenes that we don't talk about, but we know. There's a lot of things that are fucked up about that. Like, I mean, the men get all the power, the men get to pass the laws and propose the laws and things, but the women are the ones that are actually doing it. Everyone knows this, but they can't actually get the recognition, and they are all just seen as like playthings and toys and stupid women.
In theory, men should have to cut their hair too. I wonder why they're not made to do that.
Because they are men and they have dicks and not vaginas.
I mean, I get it, but still,
Yeah.
it leaves a bad taste.
But the minister defers to her often. So he's aware of this. He lets her do her shit. And she is diligent in preserving his dominion and his rule over everything. She doesn't want to fuck it up. Because if he falls, so does she. They're intertwined at this point. So she's doing everything she can to keep the ministers moving up. So here's a little side note that I put in the notes, and I know this is super random, and I see my ADHD the way I just went, woo! But the sovereign has people prepping his stuff with special knives off to the side. He gets the upper crust of all the bread and the rolls, which, first of all, thought interesting, because upper crust is like a thing for rich people. But also, do you want the upper crust? But also, old bread was shittier, so like the centers were more dense and things like that. That's why you use them for trenchers. So maybe the upper crust is the best part. So those are all the thoughts that went through my head when I read that part. And then he does get a new trencher for each course, unlike everybody else.
A new trencher, which is what?
It's like the thick part of the bottom of the bread, and it's your plate that you put that the food goes onto.
Like they do at Panera Bread, where you get the bread bowl and then they put the nice soup inside of it. That's kind of like what a trencher would be.
Sort of, but it's just like a flat piece of bread.
Because I can understand that, but what I can't understand is why do you want the crust? Like, I know plenty dudes who, as kid, had the crust cut off of their sandwiches because nobody wants the crust.
Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying a minute ago. That's where I went through all of that in my head, where I was like, okay, so maybe that's why they're called the upper crust if you're rich, first of all. Second of all, maybe it's because in the olden days, the center of the bread, like it wasn't bread like we have now, like Wonder Bread. You have like, you cook bread and it's thick as shit in the middle. So it's not like this nice homemade piece of bread.
Where it's all soft.
And nice. So the best softest, maybe, actually, piece of bread might actually be that top crust that's nice and crispy and good. And that's the best piece to, like, taste. The rest of it is utility.
Interesting. Holy fuck. I never thought about it that way before.
Yeah, you overcook the outside so the inside's all nice and
But the
well
stuff
cooked.
just underneath the crust that's been protected is the softest, best tasting. So that's why they're the upper crust.
Yeah, that's why he gets that. And then everybody else gets the shit underneath it. That's my suspicion. Those are the things that went through my head. I didn't research it all. I just thought about it in my head, went boop, 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 and then wrote that down.
Wow, that's interesting.
And if you're a psychologist out there, send us what your notes are on what Jade's thoughts were about that, please. Because that might be a scientific paper.
Yeah,
But not a bill because we're not paying.
Goddamn right. So Bert leans over to mention that he heard of the situation with the woman. And Dalt's like, dude, got it handled. Already, don't fucking worry about it. She didn't mean any offense. We're good. Which, Bert's like, all right, my guy, right? You've been here for like 2 months. Fuck yes.
It's why Dalton's where he's at.
Exactly.
That's why he's sitting at that exact spot at that exact table.
Yeah.
Get shit done.
But this is also the moment that makes everybody super uncomfortable with like, yeah, you shut that bitch up. High five. And you're like, ooh, that feels bad.
Hey, I don't know how to break this to you, but anyone who's overhearing that conversation, they don't think it's bad.
No, they don't. But that makes
No.
me feel bad.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. They would never say something like that in this type of company. They are
Exactly.
very, very particular about what's happening.
And paranoid about ears.
Mm-hmm.
But Bert is so pleased that Dalt handled this that he just goes ahead and leans into Tess. Like, not like, there's some space. Not like I could lean into you right now, Aaron, and like speak to you.
Yeah.
He leans on to Tess. Like they are,
Yeah.
he's touching her.
This is that thing where Dalton said he didn't want her to dress too available.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because of this, because other people here are accustomed to that and what it means, it's all of that goes with it too. So this is where I do have sympathy for him to where he's like, I know you're dressing more conservatively, but you doing this also is kind of signaling to the other powerful men around here that you're up for discussion at least. And so this guy leaning into Tess this way is the thing that Dalton was probably worried about in the first place.
I would assume so. I mean, he also heavily compliments how well she looks in her dress and her hair, which is we know a thing for Tess.
There's a big deal.
mhm.
Longer the better too.
He tells her, if you weren't with Dalt, then I would take you for a little spin on that dance floor, honey.
Oh, if only you weren't ... then I would ...
Yes.
Gross.
Yeah. And Tess is all about it. She's like, you want to do that? Right now? And she's like super flustered about the whole thing.
This is the thing she's been waiting for.
Yeah.
The powerful man to speak to her.
Which I'm
This is
sure as her husband, Dalt is just like, wonderful. I'm so glad to see that.
Great.
That's good. This is good.
No, I don't think it's not. I don't think it's as much as what you just did, Nate. I
You don't think so?
No, I think there's a little bit of that, but I think there's a lot more of this gives us more power. If she gets him eating out of her hand, we have more power.
No, he stated in this book so far, the only thing he's not willing to compromise on is Tess. I don't think he's even willing to let people think that it might be maybe an option.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was more of like him and Tess have an agreement of like, hey, you can always flirt. You can't touch.
I don't think Joel even wants to let guys think about her in like,
No,
yes,
of
she's
course he
attractive.
doesn't.
You can flirt, but not really. I don't want you to ever make a guy think that you're interested. It's a coy
It's
smile,
socially, yeah, exactly.
but no lewd word. Like, you are
Exactly.
not saying words that make people think
Like-
that you're...
How flattering of you to suggest
Right.
something like that after the little laugh and it's all fine and no one's offended, but
Yeah.
also, no, that's not happening.
this here where she's like, she would be more than honored to dance with. I think that is flirting with a line that Dalt isn't even like, no, you wouldn't fucking be honored to dance with.
You're not going to grind your junk on my wife. Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not going to obviously say that here in front of the feast. But like,
sorry, name came out just a minute.
Inside, no, the fuck we would be honored, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all. But it's neither here nor there because Hildy would never fucking allow that disrespect. So it's not going to happen. No worries.
She's not an object. She's a fucking human being. And she won't be viewed as an object.
I just feel like Tess isn't super strong on that.
That's right. She was making the comments.
So far,
the comments were there.
So far, she's been faithful, but from this moment,
I forgot about that.
Just
I think it was that we all agree that like her part is to be a tease, but then they disagree on what level of tease. And Tess is willing to be a tease.
She's in it for
Dalton
the power.
is like, hey, hold on. I fully agree to that. Absolutely.
No, I amend what I said because I see it now. And I feel like you're right. You're right. You're right. She's willing to go farther than he is. And he's trying to hold it back.
So Dalt brings up that the director is concerned. This is talking about Lynn Scott. We don't say names here, but he brings it up in words. And they're talking about in code here. They're like, people are conspiring against us at this point. And they're basically talking in code because you never know who's listening. Dalt knows himself because he employs somebody who magically listens in. So he is well aware that you always have to watch what the fuck you're saying.
He's got magic people on the payroll. That is a huge fucking deal.
Right. Which is why also last chapter, when he was speaking to Lynn Scott and to Claudine, he's well aware of everything he's saying and how it can come off to other people because he has his own little games he's playing. He knows other people might be too.
If there was a Fitch in this dinner, it'd be one of the caterers.
Oh,
and
100%.
Dalton knows that. Like, the person serving the food could also be serving information to someone who's paying them. And Dalton knows that that's a very real possibility.
Or being paid to listen for information.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah.
100%.
Every person there is a potential threat.
You are not safe at all here.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a fancy dinner.
So these two have like a script they use, right? When they start talking about this stuff to try and cover their tracks. You know, who would ever plot against our good works for the people of Andereth? And, you know, there are always a greedy few who wish to stall the progress and all this bullshit that people overhearing would just assume is on the up and up.
It sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is their secret code.
Yeah. They are actually talking about other shit.
Our quote unquote good works is, quote, all the fucking crime we're getting away with right now.
Yeah. Side note, it does mention that Bert picks up a roasted swan wing and like dips it in a little bowl of sauce.
There's no meat there.
There's no meat. Also, the size of a fucking swan.
Yeah, that's big.
You're picking up a swan wing, and even if we're talking about a feather, a swan feather is large. The wing itself would probably be my arm size, right? Maybe a little smaller. He's just picking one up and dipping it. Every swan that I ever seen, unless we're talking about fucking baby swans, which it doesn't specify, and it should if it does, are fucking giant.
Yeah, they're big.
Yeah, they are big.
So, like, I'm just trying to picture him dipping a swan wing at a fucking table, and that seems awkward as shit.
I'm picturing a tomahawk steak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
That's
I
a lot
understand
to
what
bring
you're
around
saying.
on a platter.
If you got a plate of swan wings, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And there's only like 2 bites
You're
of fucking
poking-
food on it.
You're poking your
but
wife
it's
in
this
the
big.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm done.
You're poking your wife in the eyeball while you're eating your roasted swan wing.
What a fucking asshole.
Yeah, you know the
Yes,
Bugs
you're
Bunny
with us now. Yes.
the Bugs Bunny
Okay.
corn on the cob, but it's
Yeah.
only the very end bits
Just
that
the
actually
bits.
Yeah.
Pee-wee's breakfast, half a bite and we're done. Fuck this guy.
Absolutely
what an asshole.
fucking wild.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on fucking board. You don't waste food. What a
Okay.
dick.
Glad we got there. So, the Sovereigns do hold the post for life. So once fucking Bert is appointed, it's not going to matter very much, but it does now. So they gotta watch what people fucking are saying in the streets,
Mhm.
because it could fuck some shit up for them. You know what I think will fuck shit up for me?
For you?
Yeah, for me. Continuing to sit here without getting another beer. So...
Fair.
We don't want that. No.
Exactly. Everyone's going to really hate that. So I am going to go ahead and say that we are taking a break.
Okay.
And we'll be back after that. And if you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but we'll be back in a minute. Howdy, y'all. We're back. And Dalt has a suggestion for his little table. He wants to upset the balance of what's going on here. So he whispers in secret his little plan to Hildy and Bert and everyone sitting there. They all agree. They're like, solid. All right, cool. We have one. Going with it. Weirdly, Stein chooses this moment to slice the tablecloth with his dinner knife.
What the fuck, man?
And offer to slit the throat. Why don't I just slit their throats? Loudly, he says this.
Well, yeah, because I think we were told the seating arrangement, he's not next to them. Like, I think he's a couple seats down. So, like, when they're saying that, like, all of a sudden they get close and start whispering stuff, and it's like, you were heard from 7 feet away, you idiots.
I think the seating arrangement is that they are all at this head table. Stein is at the head table with Bert and Dalt.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's a long table, and so they're all sitting along it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we all know the reason that we sit in this particular formation is because if you sit in a line, you have to shout.
Yeah.
And they're in a very large room. So, I mean, not only is there magical people who can overhear, but if you're shouting, it makes a fucking difference. So everyone can hear. And the Sovereign is at just the table right over there. So maybe let's not be threatening people loudly, right? You would think.
That's what it was both. It was like, you guys were talking so loud to be overheard, but then for Stein to make such a bold statement back at them across the table is like, that's a statement. He's letting them know I heard you, and he's also saying, and here's where I stand. No, I'm just kidding, bro. But really. But I'm just kidding.
Well, that is what happens.
Yeah.
Everybody at the table reacts negatively, as expected, and it's because Stein has been warned. Dalt's like, I fucking told this guy he needs to watch his shit. So he gives him a look, and Stein immediately is like, I was just joking.
It was a joke. It's fine.
It's fine.
It was a prank, bro.
Yeah.
Bert immediately, for anyone listening, growls over to him like, hey, you fucking disrespected our culture.
Yeah.
Fuck the Imperial Order. You need me. That's why you're here. I'll get a different person to fucking come talk to us if I need to. Fuck you. Don't fucking say that shit. So Stein backs right up. He's like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend. My culture is just that we make jokes like that all the time.
Yeah, we're just a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
I do really, really like that he brought up the Domini Dirge.
Yeah.
When he said,
Bert
we don't
did,
fucking need you, we're not worried about you guys, he was like, hey, y'all will come attack us anyway. We're behind the Domini Dirge. We're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And your little boss ain't talking about that. And I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Because we do have a say in all this bullshit.
That's why
more
you're
than
here.
maybe other countries.
Yeah.
Exactly. The only reason you're here is because we can stand up to your bullshit and call it. And the other people can't.
But so yeah, Stein's like, whoopsie, it was just a harmless little joke. I didn't mean to say that.
You're trying to show up and say you have the biggest nuts, but you do not, in fact, have the biggest nuts. We do.
Yeah, that's Bert's take on it. And the minister bops his nose again and is like, you better use fucking better judgment when you're speaking to my people as a whole, because that's not going to go over well. And Stein's like, hey, I was fucking told that. I do know that. I'm just, uncultured and stupid, so it slipped my mind.
Was just testing the boundaries a bit.
He doesn't say that, but
that's what he was doing.
Asks forgiveness.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And Bert's like, hey, man, the Andros people don't fucking like violence and brutality, okay? We're not used to hearing about it and not used to seeing it, for fucking sure. which I thought was a bad thing to tell an invading army that your people don't like violence.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda makes you seem like a soft-bellied little people who may talk a lot, but don't actually have a lot of, like, oomph behind you.
Kinda makes you seem like a... Oh, let me check my notes here. Fucking target.
Yeah.
An easy target at that.
Yeah. But Stein kisses ass so well at this point. He says everything that he should be saying, that Dalt is actually, like, fucking impressed. He, like, it raises his opinion of him as a politician type person. Like, oh, you can work the fucking room. Okay, good.
He said everything that was necessary to say.
Right.
He's not dumb. He's playing dumb. He's playing into the built-in excuse that he's from a rough and tumble culture, so he's clearly a rough and tumble guy. We can be a little loose with our lips around him. And in this exact moment, he just told Dalton, you fucking idiot. I'm just as intelligent as you are.
I'm here playing the game.
You have taken me for granted. You just made a mistake, and that's why Dalton's impressed. Because Dalton doesn't get any... No one one-ups Dalton. Nobody one-ups Dalton. His webs are all over the place. And if he doesn't have his webs there, Tess does. You know? So it's like, for Stein to come out and be like, I'm just a rough and tumble brute. Also, I've memorized the encyclopedia on politics. So try me.
And everything you think about me, and I'm aware of that too.
Well, I mean, I think it's the other thing of like how I brought up, I think it was last chapter, the ceremonial swords. Those aren't ceremonial swords on Stein's waist.
Oh, right.
Stein can talk the talk and walk the walk, which unfortunately lends credence to his proposals. When he is by definition, what Dalt just said, an impressive man, that does back up the things you say, because you are seeing a man say things and also seeing a man who appears to be able to walk the walk too.
Well,
you know, scalp cape.
Especially in the way that he's kind of playing a dumb brute.
Exactly.
But he's not a dumb brute.
He's disarming.
Exactly.
Oh, even in the way that he's a threatening physical presence.
He comes
he's
off that way
disarming
immediately.
because he seems like he might be a little bit dumb, but he is super not.
But he's respectful too.
That's
He's
right.
Dumb,
He can play the game
scary,
when he needs
but respectful. It puts you on a little bit of a
disarming.
Really know. Yes.
He's hyper
That's the
aware.
perfect word for it. He's disarming.
Wow.
Dalt recognizes that what he's saying is obviously satire, but Bert and Hildy don't seem to pick up on it. They just kind of roll with it. They're just they're disarmed. You know, they're like, okay, cool. We hear what you're saying. They've taken it as an apology. Tess doesn't miss the sarcasm in the guy's voice when he's kissing ass and when he starts gushing over the wine. She's just watching. Tess has had a harder life, so she deals with the women and the gossip and the talk. She knows when somebody's fucking bullshitting her. So she knows that Stein doesn't mean anything that he fucking says. He's just saying it to smooth over the conversation.
He's saying it because it's socially expected that he says it.
Yeah.
But he's aware enough of the game to say it.
Yeah.
And that's what they're kind of surprised and impressed by.
So Dalt's impressed by.
Right.
My gut feeling reading between the lines here is Tess was impressed by Stein before Dalt was. That, like, I get the feeling that, like, Dalt goes like, oh, and Tess can tell too. Meanwhile, Tess looks at Dalt and goes, finally, we're on the same page about this guy, because I've been listening where you haven't.
He goes,
because
he's
I'm
a
just
freak
a
with
woman.
a scalp cape. And she's like, no, he's playing his part brilliantly.
Well, but the thing, too, of, like Stein, Tess has a built-in disarming aura about her by being a woman, being scantily clad. Like, if you are willing to weaponize those things, you can, and they are effective. And I'm sure she's probably heard, seen, whatever about Stein. Like, that's my headcanon. Tess is probably a little bit more on the up and up about these things. But you'll never hear that from Dalt. Dalt thinks he's the one, and it's like, your quote earlier, the behind every successful man is a hardworking woman. Tess is that hardworking woman.
Yeah, 100%.
She helps fills in all the blanks that Dalt doesn't quite get.
That he misses.
Yeah.
adult isn't paying enough attention to Tess is what you should take away.
You know what
Yes.
this is? This is the fucking Green Hornet in Kato. Kato did all of the fucking work, and Green Hornet got all the praise
The Ryan
and
Reynolds
never had
movie?
a fucking clue what was going. No, literally any iteration
No,
of them.
this was
This
Seth
is the
Rogen.
same
and
thing.
That's Green Lantern.
Oh.
Green Hornet is where
Green Hornet, yeah.
Green Hornet is the superhero, but he has a chauffeur/butler, and that chauffeur/butler is the one who knows karate and actually beats up everyone.
Yeah, like if Alfred did all the work
Yeah.
in Batman.
Yeah,
That's Kato.
Green Hornet's the face. The worker is Tess is the one who does all the work.
The dude
Dalton's
who's
the
rich enough to
face.
have a mask and a
Yeah.
car.
Okay,
The other
guys.
guy is his sidekick, but actually
Hey.
does it all. But that's Tess.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's
That's
actually
Tess.
doing more work,
Tess
and
is
Dalton
Kato.
doesn't see it that way.
Yes. Okay, so everybody at the table has been appeased. So Stein asks when he gets to fucking say his piece to the people. And Bert at this point is like, okay, guy, with his eyes raised, because who the fuck is this guy trying to dictate when we do shit? He's like, when everybody fucking gets done eating, okay, weirdo?
Yeah.
The
Because
fancy pants have to enjoy their night first.
everyone's already stuffed, but we have 7 more courses. Shut the fuck up.
Ow!
So Stein goes back to eating his meat and leering at the women. So that's the end of our fucking chapter.
Oh, jeez.
The feast is not finished yet. This is the longest we've ever had dinner in the whole series. Don't understand.
We're on the second chapter. This is a 2-chapter dinner.
Oh,
Oh
it's
my
gonna be
God.
3, bud.
Oh,
It's
fucking-
not done yet.
It's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry. I get politics and talking to people and all this. It takes time. We're fucking tending webs. But oh my fucking God.
Yeah, in the very best of ways. Fucking get to it, guys.
My wizard note, doing the fucking notes for
Yeah.
this bullshit is goddamn annoying.
I will say this is where, like, because I've heard this about, like, Game of Thrones, where it's like, people are like, it's fantasy. And it's like, no, it's a political drama. But it's set in a world where there's dragons and magic.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
It's misgenred. Like, just because you're set in space doesn't make you a sci-fi. It might be a drama. It might be Romeo and Juliet. Just because it's in space doesn't make it sci-fi.
Arguably,
I mean, it
Star Wars
does,
is a
but-
Western, but that's
Exactly.
neither here nor there.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of, it's like we went from action adventure where all of a sudden we've always dipped our toes in the politics because Richard and Kaylin run 2/3 of the fucking world.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, this
I mean, they're never
was
there
written
doing
that
it,
way.
but yeah.
That's what I mean is they
Yeah.
have the positions, but we're not in the meetings right now. We've visited them. This is like, nah, here's the politics of this local region, and we're gonna dive into it. Like, this is a little bit, these chapters have kind of been a genre bend.
And the looks and the dress, everything matters because it all adds up to it, and I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I fully get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's get to it, okay?
I'm very excited to get back to Richard and Kaylin in sword swinging, and I'm sure that'll happen soon. That's my prophecy.
All right. Well, that's our truth here. And we would love to hear every single one of yours because I love you so fucking much. So write to us in your dirty books to podcastatt@gmail.com
Scribble,
or
scribble.
find us on any of our social medias.
glug, 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 glug.
Isn't that such a clever joke? Anyways, if you would like to support this podcast and hear more clever jokes from yours truly, go find us over on patreon.com/podcast
ATT,
where every tier is the happiest tier you've ever cried. or like subscribe to or whatever, however it works. I don't know.
Oh,
Nate
yeah,
does that
that.
bullshit. So, yeah, that's all for us, friends.
I can't say anything. I'm dead. Thank you very, very much for listening.
Toodly pips, you fun dips.
Bye.
We're going with that. We're going with
You gotta hit the button. It's your job.
Hey, I know this is going to seem
It's your only
hypocritical,
job.
but it's important to workshop things.
I don't think so. I think that was great. Hit the button.